Blackhead prevention starts with consistency, not force. Blackheads form when oil, dead skin cells, and tiny bits of everyday debris collect inside a pore, and the top of that plug darkens after exposure to air. They are not a sign that someone is dirty, and they usually do not improve when the skin is scrubbed aggressively. In many cases, rough treatment only leaves the skin more irritated, more reactive, and harder to manage. A steady routine usually works better than a dramatic one. Wash the face gently in the morning and again at night with a mild cleanser and lukewarm water. Avoid very hot water, rough scrubs, harsh brushes, and the urge to attack the skin as if it were a stain that can be polished away. If makeup, sunscreen, sweat, or daily buildup is still on the skin at the end of the day, remove it fully before bed. Lightweight, water-based, or non-comedogenic products are often a better choice for skin that clogs easily, especially around the nose, chin, forehead, and jawline. Moisturizer still matters, even when skin feels oily, because skin that feels stripped and uncomfortable can become more reactive. If the skin tolerates it, salicylic acid may help loosen clogged material inside pores, and adapalene may help keep pores from becoming blocked over time. The important thing is to start slowly and stay steady instead of trying too much too fast. Squeezing blackheads with fingernails or tools may feel productive for a moment, but it often leads to irritation, lingering marks, and a cycle of touching the face that creates more trouble than progress. Hair oils, pomades, and heavy styling products can also quietly contribute to clogged pores around the forehead and temples, so it helps to keep those products away from facial skin whenever possible. Pillowcases, hats, and phone screens do not need to become a source of anxiety, but keeping them reasonably clean supports a better environment for the skin. Prevention is not about perfection. It is about making pores less likely to clog, keeping the skin barrier calmer, and choosing a routine gentle enough to keep doing for months. And now, with that practical skin advice folded away neatly like a clean towel in a bathroom cabinet, let us move into the longer, warmer, stranger, and much funnier part of the afternoon, where, instead of cleansers, cotton pads, and magnifying mirrors, we find ourselves in a small American town full of folding chairs, library books, raffle slips, crock pots, sheet cake, and one retired gentleman who accidentally becomes the unlikely mastermind of the most chaotic senior center spelling bee in county history. In the town of Briar Fork, West Virginia, 76-year-old Calvin Rook believed in 5 unshakable truths. Coffee should be black. Soup should not contain surprises. Pens should always work on the first try. Nobody over the age of 70 should be forced to play icebreaker games. And any event described as light-hearted would almost certainly involve avoidable suffering. Calvin had retired from the county courthouse records office after 45 years of file drawers, deed books, correction fluid, and the soul-polishing labor of explaining to irritated adults that legal documents did not improve merely because they were waved in the air. He lived alone in a brick ranch house with faded shutters, a side garden, and a detached garage so neatly arranged that the socket wrenches looked like they were standing for inspection. His wife, Miriam, had died 6 years earlier. Since then, he had arranged his days into a pattern so regular it seemed almost liturgical. Coffee at 6, radio at 6:15, toast at 7. A short walk after breakfast if the weather had enough decency to behave. Lunch at noon, a nap at 1, which he called structural maintenance. Supper at 5:30, dishes at 6, porch at 6:30, bed at 10. It was a quiet life, useful, manageable, respectable, but some evenings, especially in late October when the light failed early and the house held its silence too carefully. Calvin could feel the difference between peace and emptiness. The chief enemy of that peace lived directly across the street. Her name was Jolene Baxter, age 72, widow, Methodist, owner of 17 seasonal sweaters, and organizer of more civic events than some towns officially possessed. Jolene moved with the purposeful speed of a woman who never walked anywhere unless she intended to return with volunteers. She wore reading glasses on a beaded chain, practical shoes, and an expression suggesting she had already solved 3 problems no one else had noticed. She chaired the Senior Center Social Committee, helped with church meal trains, ran the annual mitten drive, and believed with radiant sincerity that every retired person needed engagement, which Calvin privately defined as tasks disguised as fellowship. On a breezy Thursday morning, Calvin was sitting on his porch with a mug of coffee and half a slice of ginger loaf when Jolene came up the walkway carrying a casserole dish and a thick lavender folder. Calvin saw the folder and said, "No." Jolene stopped at the first step. "I have not even spoken. You have paperwork. I also have chicken and stuffing casserole." "That makes the paperwork worse. It means I came prepared. For my refusal? For your resistance." Calvin leaned back in his chair. "Then at least one of us entered this honestly." She climbed the porch steps anyway, set the casserole on the side table, and sat down without invitation. "The Senior Center Literacy Fundraiser has a problem," she said. Calvin closed his eyes for one brief second. The Literacy Fundraiser was a yearly event involving book donations, soup, cake, raffles, folding chairs, and a quantity of handmade signage that always suggested too many people had access to glitter pens. "What sort of problem?" he asked. The MC canceled. "Why?" "His granddaughter has a choir competition in Charleston." "That sounds legitimate." He also said he was not really a microphone person. Calvin nodded. "That sounds wise." Jolene ignored him. "So, naturally, I thought of you." "Why would you do that?" "Because you speak clearly, people trust you, and you are funny." Calvin stared at her. "I am not funny. You are after 70. Dry counts. I worked in county records. You spent 45 years correcting other people's nonsense in complete sentences. That is practically stand-up. That is not stand-up. That is clerical despair. You do not need to perform. Just welcome people, keep the schedule moving, announce the raffle, and help with the spelling bee." Calvin blinked. "The what?" "The spelling bee." He sat very still. "There is a spelling bee. It's the main attraction." "For whom?" "For the seniors. It's adorable." "No. Seniors and spelling bees should never meet in public. It's for charity." "That makes it worse. Charity always adds pressure." She slid the folder toward him. "I may already have written your name in pencil." Calvin looked at the casserole. "You volunteered me before asking?" "In pencil," she said. "I'm not unreasonable." "No," he replied. "Just efficient in a way that undermines freedom. The event is Saturday at 2. And if I refuse? I'll tell people you were intimidated by a microphone and the word encyclopedia." He narrowed his eyes. "That is slander with accessories." She smiled. "So you'll do it." And that was how Calvin Rook, retired records defender of peaceful weekends, became the emergency host of the Briar Fork Senior Center Literacy Fundraiser, and without consent, the moderator of the Over 70 Community Spelling Bee. For the next 2 days, he prepared as if he were mediating between hostile dictionaries. He found his brown blazer, the one reserved for funerals, anniversary dinners, and restaurant outings where napkins arrived folded like personal judgment. He polished his loafers. He wrote note cards. Then he rewrote them. Then he made backup note cards because the first set looked insufficiently suspicious. On Friday morning, his daughter, Teresa, called from Columbus. "Dad," Jolene told Mrs. Harker. Mrs. Harker told Aunt Ruth, and Aunt Ruth told me you're hosting the spelling bee. Jolene should not have access to communications infrastructure, Calvin said. Teresa laughed. "You'll be great. I have 6 note cards. That means you care. I have backup note cards. That means you're still exactly yourself. I also reviewed the spelling list. That means you're over-prepared. That means I'm trapped." Saturday arrived bright and cold. The senior center hall had been transformed into what Jolene clearly imagined was intellectual festivity and what Calvin privately thought of as autumn under institutional supervision. Orange tablecloths covered every table. Mason jars with battery candles sat beside little pumpkins and stacks of donated books. A hand-painted banner reading "Spell for the Shelf" in glittering green letters hung crookedly across the front wall, which Calvin regarded as a betrayal of the event's stated principles. Along the back wall stood the refreshments table with chili, chicken noodle soup, crackers, brownies, pumpkin bars, coffee, tea, and enough sheet cake to stabilize local morale. Retirees in cardigans and sport coats filled the folding chairs with paper cups and opinions already fully operational. 3 widows in the second row had brought their own dictionaries just to settle arguments, which Calvin considered a warning sign. Jolene